There are people who spend their entire lives trying to please others, until one day they realize that kindness is not always returned with love. Thyu was a gentle donkey who lived in a peaceful valley, where he woke up each day before the sun had even risen. While all the other animals were still fast asleep, Thyu was already standing at the village gate, ready to help anyone who might need him. He never complained, never refused, and never put himself first. To Thyu, helping others was his greatest pride. He believed that kindness was his true strength, and that as long as he kept giving, everyone would surely love and appreciate him forever. When the horse asked him to carry wood along a rough, stony road, Thyu quietly did it without hesitation. When the goat needed help pulling a cart through the mud, Thyu lowered his head and helped again. When the cow wanted him to stand watch by the fence under the blazing sun, he still did not say no. Day after day, Thyu became a name known throughout the entire valley. But the painful truth was that no one truly saw the exhaustion growing behind his smile. Thyu still believed he mattered, that he was needed, that he was loved, but he had not yet realized that sometimes people do not keep someone around because they cherish them, but because they have simply grown used to hearing that person always say, yes. Day after day, Thyu continued living that way, giving more than he could truly bear. He was always there whenever someone needed help, always ready to take on the heaviest tasks without a single complaint. But behind that devotion, Thyu's body was slowly wearing out. He had less and less food, less and less time to rest, and his back grew more painful after every endless heavy load he carried. Even so, Thyu kept a smile on his face, because deep in his heart he believed that if he was kind enough, if he sacrificed enough, people would always love and value him. Then one morning, Thyu woke up and realized that his body had almost no strength left. His legs trembled, his back burned with pain, and his stomach was empty because the day before, he had given his last portion of food to the goat, just because it said it was hungry. Even in that condition, the horse appeared at his door again and said it needed Thyu to carry an urgent load. Thyu looked at his trembling legs, then at the horse's strong and healthy body, and yet in the end, he still gave the same familiar answer, okay. That moment revealed Thyu's greatest tragedy. He was no longer helping out of kindness. He was sacrificing himself just to hold on to the feeling that he was still useful in the eyes of others. Thyu forced himself to stand up, then once again continued walking under the weight of the load the horse had just given him. Every step felt as heavy as if he were dragging stones, each breath burning like fire inside his chest. His back ached sharply, his legs trembled uncontrollably, and his stomach was empty after giving away his last meal to someone else. Yet Thyu did not stop. He clenched his teeth and kept moving forward, because deep inside, he still held on to one belief. If I endure just a little more, if I keep helping, surely someone will notice and appreciate me. When the journey finally ended, Thyu returned in a state of complete exhaustion. He collapsed onto the cold ground, his breath broken and uneven, his eyes closing because he had no strength left at all. He lay there, waiting for someone to ask if he was okay, waiting for a caring glance, waiting for a hand to help him up. But when Thyu opened his eyes, everything around him continued as if nothing had happened. The horse was laughing and chatting happily. The goat was calmly grazing. The cow was resting in the shade. No one looked at him. No one cared. In that moment, Thyu's heart shattered. And perhaps you have been in that same place before when you give everything, yet receive nothing but silence in return. If you have ever felt like you are always the one who tries the hardest but is appreciated the least, then keep listening to this story, because what comes next might change the way you see yourself forever. That night, Thyu lay alone in the darkness. There was no laughter, no familiar voices asking for help, only silence and a dull ache spreading through his chest. He closed his eyes, but the harder he tried to sleep, the clearer his thoughts became. Am I not good enough? Thyu whispered to himself. Then another voice echoed in his mind, slow but piercing. Or, did they never truly care about you? Thyu opened his eyes. The question cut straight into the truth he had been avoiding for so long. All this time, he thought he was building relationships. But perhaps he had only been creating a habit for others, a habit of receiving without ever giving back. The next morning, just as the sun began to rise, the horse showed up again, as usual. "Dio, I need you to carry another load today. Hurry, I'm in a rush." Dio remained still. He didn't get up. He didn't move. "Dio, did you hear me?" A long silence followed. Dio stared straight ahead, his voice quiet but firm. "No." The horse froze. "You, what did you just say?" Dio took a deep breath. For the first time in his life, he wasn't speaking to please anyone. "I said, no." There was no anger, no fear, just a strange, steady calm. The horse stood there for a few seconds, waiting for an explanation, a smile, or the usual apology. But Dio said nothing more. Then the horse turned away, confused. One by one, the goat, the cow, and the other animals came. And each time, Dio gave the same single answer, "No." And from that very moment, Dio's life began to take a completely different direction. After the day Dio began to say no, he realized a painful truth. The valley continued to function just fine without his sacrifice. The horse carried its own wood, the goat pulled its own cart, and the cow took care of its own work. No one was truly helpless without Dio. They had simply lost someone who was always willing to carry everything for them. That truth saddened Dio, but it also awakened him. All this time, he had confused being needed with being taken advantage of. He thought he was important, but in reality, what others had grown used to was simply his willingness to say yes to everything. From that moment on, Dio began to change, little by little. He ate his portion of grass first. He rested when his body was tired. He no longer rushed over every time he heard someone call his name. At first, the feeling was strange, even a little empty. But over time, his legs grew stronger, his back felt lighter, and his heart became more at peace. In the end, Dio understood something important. When a person learns to place themselves in the right position, they do not become selfish. They simply learn how to live without losing themselves. After some time, Dio gradually became a completely different version of himself. He no longer rushed to answer every request, nor did he live in fear of disappointing others. Instead, he moved at his own pace, slow but steady, learning to listen to his body, to rest when needed, and to help only when it truly felt right. What's remarkable is that he never lost his kindness. It simply became a kind of kindness with boundaries, with intention, and with value. The animals in the valley began to see Dio differently. He was no longer something taken for granted, but someone worthy of respect. And in that moment, Dio realized something powerful. When you stop trying so hard to be loved, you often become more valuable than ever. Life does not require you to sacrifice everything just to be accepted. Sometimes, the lesson is not about giving more, but about knowing when to stop. If this story resonated with you, drop a G in the comments.